Welcome to a space where cultura, creativity, and real life collide. I'm Yomi, your host of Sip Happens, where I bring you unfiltered conversations on mental health, self discovery, and everything in between. Make sure y'all tune in, like, subscribe, comment, and join my conversation. See y'all next episode.
Ese gallo de Quisqueya es de pura calidad, siempre, siempre pica bueno y la cola le entrada.
Goya, Victor, Victor.
Welcome to Sip Happens. I'm your host, Yomi, and today's episode is about Kim Porter. So, for y'all that don't know who Kim Porter is, Kim Porter was an actress, a model, an entrepreneur, and she was also a mother. So, Kim Porter had four children, one with Al B. Shore, and she also had three children with Diddy. So, for y'all that don't know, Kim Porter passed away at the age of 47. So, she passed away November 15th in 2018. She was married to Al B. Shore at one point in her life, and her most public relationship was with Diddy. So, I'm pretty sure y'all have heard the scandal and everything going on with Diddy, the diddler, whatever y'all want to call him. Um, there's also a documentary that recently dropped called Surviving Diddy, and it's on HBO. So if y'all haven't watched it, I do recommend for y'all to tune in. It is about 5 episodes, and I was able to binge watch it on a Saturday night. So if y'all are interested in the Diddy situation and things going on, make sure y'all tune in on HBO because it's on there. So Kim Porter, she had a diary, and the diary was released into a book, which was called Kim's Lost Words. So I know there's two books out right now. There's Kim's Porter's Lost Word and just Kim's Lost Word. So the one I'm going to be reading today is called Kim's Lost Words, where she goes into details about her life and also her relationship with Diddy and how it played out. So, on this episode, you'll catch me reading the first three chapters. Chapter one is called Introduction Words by Kim Porter. Soon after high school, I started landing modeling jobs. I couldn't believe it. It was all happening so fast. I met my husband, father of my oldest child, and one of my best friends in life, I'll be sure. In romance, I was only 19 when we married, and no, it did not work. Al is still one of my best friends to this day. Our son Quincy is such a talented and wonderful young man. At that time, I had no idea my relationship with Al was going to introduce me to the man I would spend the better part of my adult life with, a man whom I would love and cherish, but eventually fear and hate. I don't want to put a cart before the horse, but I will say, although I knew what was going on, I turned a blind eye many times. Here, I have to tell this truth, unfortunately, because deep down I knew everything that was happening, but I lied to myself a lot about it. He was charming, a wolf in sheep clothing, a devil, and I fell for it. This story must be told, despite the fact that I will hurt my children. I cannot hide it any longer. Sean Combs must be stopped. So, already off the introduction, I'm just like, what the fuck going on over here? I think that her introducing her life like this is just very juicy to me and very intriguing. For those of y'all in the audience, what do y'all think for the first chapter? Any thoughts?
We got one speaker pulling up.
I think she was just telling her story to herself, cause that was her therapy.
Yeah, it is her diary. So
So
she
are you
is.
saying in that moment where it's although the news that came out is crazy, but do you think in that moment it was like exaggerated just because she might have been writing from a heightened emotion? Or do you think there was some wild experiences that actually occurred and because she said the devil, right? Did I hear
Yeah,
you
she
right?
did.
That's a
She
strong
said the
ass
devil. And
word.
she said at the end, Sean Combs must be stopped.
Damn.
So I just think it's a great introduction, especially writing that in your diary. Like, that's so juicy. So, chapter two, Humble Beginnings, Kim Porter's words. I was born to loving parents, Jake Porter and Sarah L. Porter, in the Peach State of Georgia. All through Columbus High School, where I graduated in 1988, I knew I was going to be famous. In the 10th grade, One of my best friends, Tina, said to me, "You won't make it here in Georgia." I knew if I really wanted to be famous, I would have to leave my hometown, and my hometown was Georgia. That conversation was so important as I look back now. It changed my life. I met Al while I was working in the industry. He was so dope and charming, and I had such a crush on him. We were married before I knew it, and Quincy was on the way. But I was young, and it was just feeling like it wasn't going to last. It was a little heated between us after we separated, but we got past that quickly. He is just a super dope guy and an amazing father. Though we separated, we are forever bonded through Quincy. Thank you, Al. I will always love you. When I met Sean, he was cool. I didn't think much of him at the time. He was just another guy at the label. Uptown was huge, and we were all living our best life. But Sean continued to lay on his charm, and before I knew it, we were dating. As a young single mom at one of the hottest companies in the world, life couldn't get any better. Then it did. My boyfriend was getting even bigger. He and Clive would hang out a lot, but I didn't think anything of it. I mean, that was his boss, and he was doing things bigger than most men were at his age. Then it happened. I mean, okay, I was a bit of a freak. I really enjoyed myself with my partner, and toys are one of the things. But I never imagined having a man I was dating asking me to use a toy on him. The first time, he said he just wanted to experiment, trying something new. I was grossed out, but he kept begging. He said it would only be this one time, and he was just curious. I was only 20 at the time. I said, "What the hell?" I hated him. I hated him. He bled from it, and there was a lot of shit on it. I left him alone after that. So that is chapter 2.
Can you give your input so we can talk, please? No, Diddy.
No, she's talking about Diddy. So at the beginning, she talked about.
Piece together. It's starting to feel piece together. Where did they get the diary from? Where did this come from?
You said what?
Where did these memoirs come from?
From her diary, allegedly from her diary.
Like her handwritten diary.
Allegedly, like so, somebody found her diary and was like, "Oh, we going."
Yeah. So apparently, allegedly, Kim Porter left her like book to Cassie,
Oh, Cassie wrote that shit.
and
She left her book.
or her diary. I'm sorry, not her book. Her diary
She left her
to
diary
Cassie.
to
To Cassie.
That was Diddy's girl.
Mhm.
So she was like, "Huh, I want to get."
You asking?
Nah, because that sounds crazy. Like, all of a sudden, yeah.
We
Nah,
need to
yeah,
know some more.
Like, I just want to know where. You know how they say cite your source.
Cite your source.
Yeah,
We
I'll
need
cite,
that.
I'll cite my sources.
We
Yeah,
need
yeah.
that MLK format.
Like, is that shit
We will.
really legit for real? Like,
So I personally think it's legit because now you can't find it anywhere. So I have the digital copy, right? But the hard book copy, it's not sold on Barnes and Nobles anymore, and it's not sold on Amazon anymore. They stopped selling the book.
How long was it on sale?
Yeah, so it was selling a couple months ago, and they stopped selling the book.
man, that is legit just because it was selling. Of course, it's going.
Right, it doesn't mean it's legit, but it's out there.
Of course, maybe that's why they stopped because it wasn't legit. You know what I'm saying?
That could be true.
Or the homie just got mad. Power, money, respect.
Nah, bro, you can't do that. You can't defame somebody's character. Like
That's
that.
facts.
That shit gotta be.
That's wild.
I know shit like that when it's legal, bro.
That segment was that shit. Did you say chapter 2 earlier?
Mhm.
That shit was wild.
It's called Humble Beginnings. Yeah.
It was like stop Diddy. It was outreach show, and then we saw
She did.
How perfect was that?
It just all went to that label. Oh, I met Diddy.
I give it back. I was a freak.
Like
But
nothing
this
else.
nigga was begging
Oh, he
me.
was
Right.
trying to. All right, what else? Nothing. Ain't no. Oh, he picked
I
me
know,
up with
doing
this.
shit like
He
that.
caught me that. I remember when we
fucking
we did
toys
that.
before, man.
So
Listen, I'm
look, your
just
audience.
reading the book.
It's getting
so,
heated.
Hello.
So, Yomi, it's getting heated with your audience.
I know. I'm just
So-
reading the book. I'm sorry.
So basically, it went from she met Diddy to she smashed Diddy.
And he asked.
No, you said, but oh shit.
Now we need the
Are
mic so
those-
it's good quality.
Are those notes from the book, or that's the actual like the
No,
diary?
that's the diary entry. So everything I'm reading is the diary entry.
So it just goes in order like that.
Mhm.
Is this within her reflecting within a day? I don't understand, like, because it doesn't sound like it's over time, like a diary would be.
Right. So me personally, after reading like the whole thing, I don't think it's something that was like, oh, one day, two, like consecutive. I think it was just like she sat down one day and just
So she
decided
knew
to
some
write
shit was
about her
going down
life.
and was like, let me write about this man.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Yeah, so as Yomi would say, what do you know? It's diabolical.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then look, she's saying, I didn't like this. So why you keep fucking with him? So obviously that's your first.
Some people do. Okay, but you wouldn't say that you've done crazy shit when you're in love. Have you ever been in love before?
I mean, of course, haven't we all?
Okay, well, you've never done anything. Have you ever done something you don't think you would have ever done when you're in, like, being in love?
Not that part.
I get what you're saying as far as being in love and being like a fool for love type shit. Because it happens. But what I'm saying is if you do some shit that, like a person do some shit that and you uncomfortable by it, like the chick want me to do something, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not gonna be like, all right, I can accept that. Like, we talking about.
Okay, but that's when I feel like
she man asking to get fucked. Like, oh, she going to say fuck it. And then if she is gonna say that, why you coming to your diary writing
that you smashed that man?
The first chapter he's saying he has to be stopped. What you just start writing this diary when you got mad at the nigga and shit? Now you like,
probably it probably I don't know.
So what I think is so look, the only explanation it could be is it's not a day-to-day diary. Like we're thinking like insert
I think she
March 1st.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think she just like was mad at this man and reflecting and tried to write down her whole.
Okay, regardless of whether it's true or not, Kim Porter was clearly kind of murdered by somebody in that little scene vibe. So it's like people are trying to get to the bottom of her death. So yes, the diary, it could very well be fake because people just want answers. Like how she died of a brain aneurysm at 47 in her mansion with twins. That was weird. It could have been, who knows? Now that we are understanding Jay-Z's weird relationship with Diddy, somebody targeted Kim. I don't necessarily think it has to be Diddy. Somebody clearly, though, had it out for her or him and was like, I'm going to get to you through your woman.
And why, though?
Because you got to understand, they in high society. All that shit. Ritualistic. You don't even know, like, man, look, man. All I'm telling you is like this.
He don't want me on record.
At the end of the day, like I'm telling you, I'm not even going on to that element. I'm going to the element of
factual.
Where in the timeline did you decide to make this journal? How did your first chapter say this man's a devil, and you a woman that got kids with this nigga? You a woman that got
well, she only has at the time technically she only got one kid.
She got multiple kids with. Exactly.
Well, right now, yeah, she has 3 kids with Diddy.
This man's a devil, then went on and had 3 kids with him. She said this man took it up the ass, then she proceeded to have.
Damn.
Okay, but think about it. You don't know when this was written, right?
So look, you got to do a second episode where you deep diving into like the history and logistics of the development of this literature. But this
right.
We should be talking about this is the topic that you should be talking about. Like you should be talking. Sorry, I can't say what you should be doing. But what you should be doing is reading this motherfucker like you're doing. Cool. Yeah. Look. Whoa. To your 2 cents. But really talk about is this legitimate? Let's talk about the legitimacy.
Do you think it's legitimate?
Like people be like, damn, is it? People gonna fuck around and be like, damn, that's more provocative. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like, is it true? Okay, I'm reading it though. I'm reading it. So I'm just reading it because
crazy, bro.
I'm reading it.
It's because this is society with men and women. Women, y'all can do, bro. Y'all can do what y'all can say, whatever, do whatever. Like motherfuckers wanna publish the motherfucking shit in Barnes and Noble. Like, come on, bro. Man, let's check her handwriting, man.
Check the handwriting.
Are you trying to do forensics? Now, I heard she typed it. No, I'm playing.
Chapter 3 is called Second Chances, Words by Kim Porter. Sean kept reaching out, and I kept ignoring his calls. Eventually, in a few weeks, we ran into each other at an event. He came over and sat next to me. We were cordial. He flattered me by saying, "You look so amazing." I replied with a simple, "Thanks, Sean." I tried to get up to leave, but he pulled my arm. As I turned to him, he looked into my eyes and said, "Look, what happened between us was weird, but I really care about you. Can we?" He paused, and I tried to use this as an attempt to escape. I pulled my hand back and said, "Sorry, Sean, I have to go. Please, I think I'm falling in love with you. Can we talk?" My breath was taken away. Did he say he loved me? It was so fast. I wasn't sure about this. God, I was so young and naive. He continued, "Let's just have a dinner. Let's just have dinner." And I fell for it. 2 days later, we went out for drinks at a lounge in lower Manhattan. The place was nice. Sean was really coming up and pulling out all the stops he could to impress me. He pulled a chair out for me to sit down. Back then, he was a gentleman. He smiled and said, "Look," as he sat across from me. "I hated it and I would never want to do it again. Give me another chance." Over coffee the next morning, I decided to give him another chance. For the next year and a half, things seemed pretty normal. It was fun, things were going great, and we were living the dream that I dreamt about throughout my youth. Sean and Clive were working on Bad Boy, and he had his first couple of artists. He picked up Craig Mack, then some rapper from the West Coast called Notorious B, to help Chris develop. He was collaborating with the biggest names in hip hop to make it happen. Things could not be any more amazing. Then he asked me to do it again. He was insane. Sean said, "Baby, I can't stop thinking about it." "What the hell are you talking about?" I responded to Sean. He continued by saying, "I just can't stop thinking about that night. It was amazing. Can you screw me one more time, please?" I became infuriated. "Why don't you go to Clive? He's one of the ones you're screwing, isn't he?" Then Sean hit me. This was the first time he slapped me very hard. Before I could form words, he began to beg, "I'm sorry." Holding my cheek where he hit me, I turned and ran off. That should have been it, but I guess this was my punishment. He sent flowers and a bunch of expensive gifts. Then he bumped into then we bumped into each other at the next industry event. He sat down next to me and said, "This is deja vu. Imagine running into you here. Get the fuck away from me." I forced out. He became more serious as he said, "Look, baby, I'm sorry." But I just glared at him. "There is nothing you can ever say to me. Nothing." After an awkward silence, he finished, "You know I love you. I love your son. He's my son. I don't know how to fix it, but I'll do anything. I'm sorry." Shit can be so sweet. Here we go again with the love thing. It's time, and I think I was starting to fall for him. He was great with Quincy, and to be honest, despite of everything, I missed him. As he stood to walk away, I remembered hearing myself saying, "Call me later." What the fuck is really wrong with me? So this is all allegedly, right? This is all allegedly. So chapter 3, I think was okay. Like, she briefly spoke about Diddy and him her wanting her to like come back and things like that. I still think chapter 2 was like very juicy, but chapter 3, I think she was getting ready to start into what really happened and what transpired between them. Um, so more to come. So we just unpacked a lot in the last 3 chapters. So make sure y'all comment, let me know your input. Make sure y'all also subscribe to my YouTube channel and find me on Apple Podcasts. But I would like to hear y'all input. And I want to know, do y'all think this is true? Is this false? Find out on the